hope everyone is today in their glory. Giving God thanks again. I'm here for the third time today. I've been on fire since this morning on a lot of topics. So if you haven't heard any of my lives or streams from earlier today, you can always watch the replay. I don't think I'm going to share all of the information here with you. I might take some bits and pieces of some of the things I talked about, but not too much. You have to go and watch and hear it for yourself. Um, I'm still in the good fight. I am still in the good fight for Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly, aka R. Kelly, who is incarcerated at this time in a Bruntner prison in North Carolina and fighting his appeals. Also, some other legal cases or whatever, illegal, whatever cases are being piled up on him. Okay, I'm not trying to take too much attention to it from the media and what they're putting out to ruin this man's reputation, character, and chances of being again a free man. Um, this election has opened this right now. I wouldn't say election, yeah, election, right? See, that's how much I'm so politically inclined and how I am with this stuff. Because I really never got involved with politics, to be honest with you. A lot of things going on in this right now political campaign is an eye opener because of what I experienced for the last 4 years and what I had before the last 4 years and the 8 other years before that under the Democrat Party. I'm just sharing my experience with it because, like I said, I am a registered Democrat, but I don't believe in every policy that's out there that the Democrat Party has been um, approving. You know what I'm saying? Things that they tricked me into believing and things that they're not doing to help the American people. It's not about the Republicans for me. It's not about the liberal for me. It's not about the conservative for me. It's about the American people. Okay, so I want to make that clear here. Some people may get it and some people may not get it because some people want you to run for a certain kind of evil party that's doing some wicked things, and it's not something that it should take a rocket scientist to figure it out. If you have been through inflation, um, loss of a job, hard for you to follow certain policies at work, and you fight against those things, and these things made you cancel you, unemploy you, or whatever, and you fighting for your benefits to unemployment as well. Um, Everything that this wicked Democrat Antichrist government has done to the American people. I know I'm not alone. I know there is so many other people out there who are feeling what I've been feeling or have been experiencing what I have been experiencing. And when Trump was president, I felt none of this. You see, and I didn't even vote for Trump. That year for president, as a president of the United States of America, when he ran back in 2000, I believe in 15 or whatever, I did not even vote for the man. I was dealing with some other stuff in my life, and I just didn't even follow up with any of the political stuff whatsoever. I didn't vote for. I don't know who I voted for, to be honest with you. I don't really remember. I know Hillary was running. Of course, I wasn't going to vote for her because I didn't feel that was a right position. I forgot who else was running too. But I know for a fact that I was rooting for, now I remember. Saunders. Okay? That's who my candidate was. Saunders. Bernie Saunders. That was who my candidate was. Hey, Frankie, glad you made it. Okay. Bernie Sanders is who I was running. I was rooting for. Okay, only because he was an elderly man, but he had to drop out because of that and other things. But he was who I was in favor of. Hi, Isaac from the UK. Yeah, so he was one of the people that I was rooting for. I wasn't voting for Hillary. I know that for a fact. I was for Bernie. Okay, even if I had to, you know, just like, hey, I didn't vote for Trump and I didn't vote for Hillary. I voted for Bernie. That was one of the people that was in you know, the race during that time. That's who I was basically rooting for. Doing that, some things I could remember him sharing about him and the civil rights, joining the civil rights movement and stuff like that. And I voted for him. That's who I was rooting for. And then the last election with him running with Biden, being that the church that I was attending and a member of, my pastor was so desperate to become bishop. Isaac, that's something I cannot tell you. That's some place where God is going to have to lead you. I can't tell you where to find a wife. If you're seeking a wife and everything, seek the kingdom of God first, and He will lead and guide your eyes to the woman that you want to be a wife. Okay? That's all I can tell you, Isaac. I wouldn't say church. Just because they in church don't make them a good wife. God will lead your heart and your eyes and everything else to the wife that He wants for you. Okay? That's all I can tell you. I'm only going to send you to the Lord. The Lord will lead you to who the woman and in your sight that you find suitable to be your wife. Now, back to what I was saying. Okay, we ain't talking about who's going to hook up with a husband and wife. We talking about this topic here. I'm still in the fight as a voice for the R&B singer, the American singer, Robert Sylvester Kelly, the great artist that ever lived in America. Okay, he was one of the greatest, and he's facing some legal battles. Well, I don't know what to tell you about that, Isaac, but anyway, let me move on. Um, the Robert Sylvester Kelly, who is now facing time in a federal prison or minimum prison, I would say, in Butner, North Carolina, on charges of RICO. Okay, I think he had about 6 counts of that, and he was charged by the federal judge out there in New York by the name of Ann Donnelly, and then he was tried again in Chicago with under Line Weber or something, but he just recently just passed away, the judge. So I don't know where his legal situation is at this point, but I know he's been fighting an appeal. Okay, he's been fighting an appeal, and he's at the appellant level, and there's things out there saying that he's now at the supreme level of the courts because they still haven't been being fair with him. So the thing is that right now his team is under some more joining members of a legal team that's joining and becoming partners with the Jennifer Bonjean team, who is another appealing attorney. She's a very seasoned attorney, and she's been on her own trying to fight against this injustice that's been done to her, who she is representing, Robert Sylvester Kelly, the R&B singer, an American icon, and all of that for some charges that were from 30 years ago. Okay, 30 something years ago, and they attacked him on it. And they came for him, and now this man is wrongfully doing federal charges, federal time in a prison. And when I was talking about this election before I was interrupted by somebody asking me about a wife, which I can't tell them. I don't care whatever's seeking in their heart. They have to go to the Lord about it. Cause I don't know how to do that for you. I can't do that for you. If God wants you to get a wife, He's gonna get you a wife. But if He don't, then hey, so be it. Maybe He got other plans for you. That's all I can say. But as I was saying, I'm being His voice through this election, and if you follow or a lot of history and events that had taken place the years, over the years, who's been in leadership of this nation? Who's been in leadership of our government here? It's been the Democrats. It's been Obama and his VP as Joe Biden. Then 8 years later, we were able to get Trump. Things were great. Things were, but Trump was under attack. Of course, we know that. We know that from the time that man got in office, people were putting out things against Trump. Okay, they first of all they played on the black people who were foolish enough because we've been under the Democrat plantation. You know what I'm saying? So of course they poisoned us to believe and prejudiced our minds to believe that the man was a racist. So that kind of like made us feel he was a racist. But back to what I was saying before I got into this part of the conversation, I got to go back. I was talking about me being a Democrat and the membership of a church where my pastor wanted to become a bishop. And being that he wanted to, and here I am in the state of Delaware. This is Biden's state. Okay? This is the Biden territory. Okay? The state of Delaware. And my church is out in Wilmington. I don't live in Wilmington, but that's was where I worked at. And, that was a place of worship for me because I worked there and I worked in education. So I felt, this would be the right home church for me. The devil is always busy. I have to tell her, I have to call her back. I'm in a meeting. Okay. Okay. This is another thing. My pastor at the time, I loved my pastor. I had really no issues with him. But when I saw him making those moves to go into leadership, to go to a higher level of his ministry and in the politics of it, and he wanted to become a bishop, and how he started to endorse the Biden administration and how he was leading us into the Biden administration. I was never feeling Biden. And I'm going to be honest, I was never feeling Biden to be my president because I felt he already served his time, 2 years under the administration of Obama. And I didn't feel it would be fair for him to be the United States president at all. And I saw how my pastor was fleecing his flock and, leading us to endorse this administration of Biden. Okay? Moving on, so my pastor did get promoted. Okay, once Biden got in office, my pastor did come to his inauguration, and I believe he said some things and spoke at his inauguration. I'm not giving my pastor's name. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to speak on it. The church that and everything else like that. I just don't feel I need to give any names. Some of you might know him and familiar with the church and all that other stuff, and I'm just going to keep that part out of this giving out names or whatever. But, you know, um, I noticed after my pastor left and I saw the church was changing. My pastor left. We have gotten a new young pastor there, and I tried to make my best um, introduction friendly, Christian, kind, loving, whatever. Him and his wife. And I saw what his wife was wearing when she first came into church, and some things that I just didn't feel was appropriate for to be the first lady and a husband. They had a small child, and I saw the way my pastor was dressing. He was dressing a little bit too still like carnal to be a man of God, and I saw his wife dressed not to be a first lady. I ain't saying she wasn't a good person, but some things that were just taking place, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give this a little bit more time. So I noticed one Easter Sunday, whatever, I got into something with an usher and then with two ushers. One to my left, one to my right. Both women were attacking me because I didn't want to wear a mask to church. I didn't feel I needed to wear a mask because right now it wasn't mandatory. But the church still was setting it up that we should still come and worship wearing a mask. I'm there in worship, I'm there worshiping, and I'm there having myself a time just praising God. And these two evil, wicked members from the church attacked me. So after service, it was on Easter Sunday. Easter Sunday. So after service, two sisters from the church, so Sister Pooh came from the, church, and she spoke to me about the mask situation and how they now trying to work on members not having to wear the mask, blah 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 blah, and really sorry about what happened. I mean, she did apologize that shouldn't have been necessary for a woman to say that I will have to leave if I don't want to pull my mask up. But I still went back to the church. My husband told me not to. He says they already showed you that's what they are, that's what they about, and that's what they do. They clickbait. You know what I'm saying? They clickish, and they not really there to serve God's people. They really there for whatever. You know what I'm saying? Be a part, be go along, get along type of whatever thing it is in the community. It's like, you stand alone, and you don't need that kind of harassment when you come to church. Come on. As long as you ain't there doing something like truly ungodly, and you weren't. You didn't want to wear a mask. Okay, and you was under attack. So anyway, moving on back to Robert Sylvester Kelly. Why I'm here is because after this man's been attacked, and he's been attacked while under, he was there with Trump, but Trump was going through this because it was like, come on now, this is 2019, and during that time, what was going on? Trump was in office. People were attacking him on all kind of things, lying on him, saying things about him, saying things to the media about him, bringing out all this fake news, destroying his character, destroying his position of going ahead as being the president for the second term to serve for the United States of America, to be our commander in chief, to protect our country, to keep all that illegal stuff out of the United States of America, to keep people coming. Not that he closed the borders so that people will not be able to come in, but they're going to have to come in the right way. All right? They're going to have to come in, and they're going to have to take be examined and everything else, and be investigated or whatever before they enter into the United States of America. That we are not coming in and letting any criminals in here, anybody that's bringing any kind of things to attack America. Like before, we had some incident that happened when, of course, we know about what happened with the Twin Towers. We know about the Twin Towers being attacked. In New York City, we lost millions, we lost thousands of people. People died from that, and some people still haven't recovered from that attack. Some people are still dealing with the trauma in our city of New York. But where do they push all these people to live when they bring in all these illegals and all these undocumented citizen people into the United States of America? These undocumented immigrants in the cities of New York and Chicago, big cities. And in where at in the cities of New York and Chicago? In the ghetto, in the poor neighborhoods, closing schools up and building them up for housing for these people in Chicago. I don't know if they did it in New York, but I know they did it in Chicago. Okay, so moving on. Look at all the people who's been in power, in the office of politics and government, that have allowed these things to happen. The party of the people were the Democrats. And of course, it's someone from all different, ethnicity, backgrounds, religion, whatever, that they seem to have got on their team. They approved same-sex marriages for this lifestyle to be accepted and not to be discriminated against, and they moved it in into the same thing of black people fighting for their civil rights, which was totally wrong, to be wanting these people to be accepted, that they would use bullying. Um, they would use all kind of intimidation to, yeah, I gotta wait because there's some lawn mowing going on outside, and I'm by my window at my house, so you're gonna hear some noise. So I'm gonna have to talk a little louder. Now, they bring all of this stuff to bring intimidation, bullying, extortion, lies, deceit, and whatever. And to God be the glory. I want to give this thanks to Marvin Winans for the message that he preached this morning. And I took some of my notes. And he came from the book of Psalms, and he came from chapter 62. As I was listening, I was taking down some notes. And it says, rule not because of intimidation, but govern through an example. The enemy always um, want to stand. I mean, the enemy always want to stand your past. Okay, they always want to look back at your past to attack you and into your and instead and into your future, and make you believe that God disqualified you. Okay, okay. The lies the enemy will like you to believe. I can't even read my own handwriting. The enemy wants you to believe that God disqualified you. That's the whole bottom line, okay? When God hasn't given up on you. And that's the reason why I'm here today, is because I'm speaking on this about Robert Sylvester Kelly, is because God has not given up on Robert. The enemy wants him to believe those lies that they piled up against him, of looking back at his life 30 years ago. But he ain't that same man. And the only thing I could say Robert got in trouble for when the enemy did was when they got him involved with setting it up with the family. The what you call that family again? Oh God, the Clarys, and also the Savages. Okay, when they set that up with those two families, that they extorted, using extortion, that you're gonna do this kind of business with us to sell sex toys and everything, and put your voice on this, that, the other, and R. Kelly refused to do it, and all kind of bribery. Because Azarel told the truth, and so did Joy. When they went on the Gayle King trial, they said my family, they know where we're at, they know who we with, then they know it's okay. You know what I'm saying? It's not like we're missing. They know who we are. They know where we at, because they the ones who put us here. Well, for Azarel, of course, it was her mother, and I believe her father had some part of it too. But of course, it was her mother who coached her. And then, as far as for Joycelyn, her family knew where she was at, and she was of age. She was away in college, but they knew all along that she was pursuing a career and interest in the entertainment world, in the industry. And children got to go out there, and you let them go, and they got to see things, and of course you got to advise them and give them guidance. Still, you have to give them some, you know, lecturing on their way. That's what a parent does. Your children never grow up to you, but you still try to know where they at, or when you out, let me know where you at. Blah 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 blah. That's parenting. Yeah, of course. No matter how old your kids get, you're gonna always have that connection to them. You always want to have some type of connection to them. So that's understandable. But these parents to lie and say their daughters were kidnapped, being brainwashed, and all this other crazy stuff they were saying to the media and out in the media, and going on platforms and saying against R. Kelly, and making up all of these things, and it became believable because of course R. Kelly was significantly older than these women were, but I don't think he was doing half of the stuff these people were saying. And once R. Kelly probably did find out if these women, but I'm not Connor. I am all woman. And you don't have to come here with your derogatory and with your ignorance and just to be disrespectful. Okay, you're out of here. And Frankie, make sure he doesn't come back again. Block him. Okay, thank you. Because these are the kind of people that's out there that just have something to attack people on. But I'm not going to be having it here. Okay. If you can, Frankie, go in and block Connor or whoever that is. Ronaldo, how are you? I'm sorry. I can't really make you a mod. I don't really know who you are, so I'm sorry. If you come around a little bit more, maybe I get familiar with you and you following me and everything. I may be kind enough to do that. But right now, I don't know really who you are. Okay, you to make you a mod on my channel. Okay, so anyway, like I said and everything, um, they made up these lies. They attacked this man character and said all kind of horrible things about him, and they made the public to believe these lies. And the people that they basically were able to be successful with was, of course, the young audience to make this feel this man was a predator, and he really wasn't. And I've been following him for many years throughout entire his career. They digged up his life about his relationship with Aaliyah, one of the first people I believe he really introduced, and not really the first people, but Sparkle really was. But because that Sparkle didn't get that spotlight or wherever she wanted to go in her career in music or whatever, that she did what she did with Robert Sylvester Kelly, and not only just her, but a whole lot of other women that were looking for a place in that entertainment world, that were looking to be aspiring singers, artists, or whatever. And I'm sure they all sold their soul and did some unspeakable things. You know what I'm saying? And that's what they did. That's what they did to women. And they not the only ones, but there's been more and more before them that has done it. They had to hook up with the top dude and do certain things that they really were uncompromising about, and they just had to do what they had to do just to get that position. And as far as for Aaliyah, her parents said it was a lie. Her mother said it was a lie. She was always around her daughter. She always was there, um, supervising and as far as being a parent. And if she couldn't be there, some other adult in the family were there to watch over Aaliyah in her career when she was young in her relationship with Robert Sylvester Kelly. So, mom said it was a lie, but people want to make this woman sound like she's been an unfit parent and that she lied and that it did happen and blase. And if it did happen, so be it. How many young girls have a crush? They feel they fell in love. They want to run away. They want to go and have elope. They want to go get married. We saw episodes of that on all kind of television programs when parents will talk to their children about the decisions they're making and they'll go ahead and do it anyway. And then they find out it wasn't working and they come back. That's part of the story of the prodigal child. It's a lot of things that young adults are going to challenge their parents with, teenagers and all, who are going to challenge their parents with to make their own decisions to find out the truth. And then they come back. But everybody was all up in the hoops about it. And the thing is I never took it on. So what? If it did happen, it happened. You know what I'm saying? If they fell in love and he fell in love with this young teenage girl and this young teenage woman fell in love with him and they seem to be getting along pretty well and they seem to be meeting each other on the same level of life, so be it. Okay? So be it. It's sad when you have to hold back what you really feel because people cancel you, people want to say ugly things about you or whatever. But I don't feel that way about Robert Sylvester Kelly. No matter what has happened in his past, I still got greater love for him. I still got mad respect for him. I still enjoy his body of work and his music. He made some very inspirational songs. And that's why I came on here and I think I said to my mod that I'm going to take this leap of faith. That's one of R.Kelly's songs, A Leap of Faith. He made a lot of inspirational songs out there. Not all his music was ever about always the bedroom. or any disrespect to any woman in her body, and anything about life. He sung about life, and he sung about it the way he saw it, and he experienced it, and and that's it. You know. So why should he be in jail, and why should people write a book about the 50 Shades of Grey and read a book about 50 Shades of Grey and say this is the kind of man Robert Sylvester Kelly is? Because that's basically what they put on his trial. The prosecutors, and I'm pretty sure it was run by this group called the Mute R.Kelly. These team of people that got together, organizations, Me Too, Times Up, Mute R.Kelly, all these women groups. They went and did tours and spoke at universities and in colleges to young adults, to young people, and prejudiced their minds about this man. And then they got together with all these big conglomerates, these television networks, and one of them was Lifetime, to and Sony and all of them, to invest in this document to say that he was this kind of person. You know, the things, the lies, and the things that they did to exhort and to do the ugly, nasty things. They cheated, they lied, they bullied, they did everything. They took advantage. They had the advantage of to destroy this R&B singer and American icon, Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly. That's why I'm so glad for this election with Donald Trump, who has going through this, who has been through this, who has been able to live through it through an experience for himself or what they done to him, so he can hear Robert's plea. That he can actually feel him in his heart, to be one of the biggest men in America, to hear this man's fight, to hear this man fight for freedom, to hear this man's voice, to hear his cries, to hear all the hurt and the harm that these people have done to this man's life, and it's destroyed his image and his family and all those people that loved him, and destroyed their relationships with him. That God will hear from the heavens and pour out a blessing. And may God use Donald Trump. Because through all of this was going on with R. Kelly, there was somebody here had a platform, Sharon Wimbush. Hello, how are you? Nico, how are you? Kept saying we need to talk to Donald Trump. We need to reach out to him. We need to write to him about this devastation, this evil that the government is doing. And they did it while he was in office, because they were still there. They didn't give him enough time to clean up the mess that Obama and Biden has done. They didn't give him enough time. They kept him distracted with other BS. But if you watch what's going on in this election right now, is all being exposed. If you really pay attention to how God is talking to us, all the exposure on these political people, all these people that were in charge of the government, and some people even called out Kim Fox and her wickedness. Gail King, I don't know if they called her out, but they called out a lot of wicked governors, of wicked people that have been a part of this whole thing with Biden and following Obama. Because it was Obama who appointed Judge Donnelly. And his wife, Michelle, is part of one of those groups. I don't know if it's Mute R.Kelly. No, Time's Up. One of that organization, because if you notice, a lot of those women, those women that played in that Lifetime document that went on these award shows, I forgot what award show it was, because that's how disgusted I was with it. They were all up in the cameras, feeling beautiful, feeling great, feeling how wonderful they done a great job against this man Robert. Some of them can't even show who they are in public anymore, because they're hiding somewhere and probably got under a new identity. because they know they lied. And some of them didn't lie at the end because some of them did have a change of heart. And as much as they tried to tell the truth, the government was pressuring them and bullying them to lie. So Robert got this. And he be home real soon, y'all. Y'all just keep the prayers up. And don't give up the fight. Now, I don't know what happened to all of those who had these big platforms going on about R.Kelly. And they was rooting for R.Kelly. And got into whatever they got into. And they got quiet now. On the simple fact that they weren't really for R. Kelly. They were there in this in November, Jay Strange. Okay, I see you. I see you. I know that's right. I never paid attention to the politics before, but now I start to see more than I seen before. He's saying he going in for the Republican Party. That's what he's saying, Frankie. Saying he's rooting for the best president of the United States. You know, we getting rid of the trash. You know, we getting that smut out of America. They destroyed this government. You know what? Whatever your name. Thank you, Frankie. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Get that smut out of here. Okay, we not here. This ain't a smut channel. Okay, you want to talk like that? You go find yourself somewhere else. This is not the channel for it. Please hit the like button. Those of you who are coming in and listening to this content, please hit the like button. I'd appreciate it very, very much, people. Please hit the like button. But like I said, we're getting rid of the smut in this government. The garbage, the trash, the ugliness, the evil, the antichrist. It's coming. It's going. It's in the process now. It's in the process now, and block them. It's in the process now, as we can see. God hand is all in this. Okay, every person who came to speak at the RNC today in Milwaukee, in Wisconsin, Milwaukee, whatever, all gave God the glory. And I felt it. And it was sincere. Some people may disagree with me. Some Christians, and they carnal Christians, or they just talk just to hear they self-talk. They speak of the Lord, they call out his name, but their heart is far from him. Some people want to still look back at Amber Rose and call her the names that they feel like was from her past, the lifestyle she was into for her past, but that's not her, what I saw today in her speech and how she presented herself. And I think I shared that this morning, a clip of Amber Rose giving her speech. And I haven't seen Amber Rose since she was running around with that Kanye. And she got out the way, and she went on with her life somewhere else, and she was just being trashed around whatever. But she did say she's a model, and she's an entrepreneur, But now the most important thing in her life now that she puts her time into is her family and her children. She spoke as a mom today. She spoke as a parent today. Her concerns as an American mother, daughter, all of that. You know what I'm saying? And she gave some background about her experience with politics in her family. So she did a great job. She did a wonderful job. She did better than Beyonce. How about that? People got to go through something. You know what I'm saying? And that's why we can't keep looking back at people's past and judge them from their past. We have to judge for what we see in front of us. And what we see is the changes God is making in their lives. Thank you, Jay Strange. We got to see the work that God is doing in their lives. We all came from something that we are not proud of in our past. If God could put all our past in front of us, we wouldn't be so proud of who we are. But being that he brought us from the dark and weary past into the marvelous light, we ought to give him all the praise and the honor and the glory. And that's why I can't stand when I hear even Christians get out here and want to judge somebody from their past experience. And some of them are just out here just talking just to talk. They heart ain't right, they heart ain't clean, and they not a true believer. Because when you judging somebody from their past, you ain't really truly a Christian. Because we all nothing but filthy rags. That God has took us and washed us up and cleaned us. Cleaned us up. That's why I'm not judging Trump. You know, I never felt in my heart he was a racist. And I'm going to be straight up honest. I just never felt he was a racist. The only reason why I felt I didn't want to vote at that time because he had really, no experience in politics. I thought he was more of a businessman. I was like, a businessman running for president? But hey, the movie star ran for president. Why can't a businessman run for president? Ronald Reagan was a businessman. I mean, was a movie star. Okay, he was a movie star. So why can't Trump? I had to take a look back and look at that. Do some American history on our presidents of the United States of America. And there's a few other people too that was running in that position. And what's his name? One of our Clint Eastwood or somebody it was a governor, and he was a movie star, whatever. So hey, God gave people a lot of talents and gifts, and God gonna use whoever He want to use. You don't necessarily have to be somebody. If God feel you the right person for the job, God gonna put you there. Ain't nobody else gonna stop it. Just like He's done for Trump, He can do it for anybody. Like Trump' passion is to be a president of the United States, and he's gonna stop by any means necessary. And he means business, business. You know, and he's running this race. He taking these miles. You know what I'm saying? He's like, he doing gangsta. And in him being the gangster, he know where his help come from. He know it comes from the Lord. Because he said it himself. I'm not the boss. He is. He knows the Lord. He knows the Lord. And some people are going to sit up there and tell me that man don't know Jesus. They know more Jesus than he do. Come on now. You can't underestimate what God can do. That's why the story in Paul is so significant in the Bible. Because Paul, we knew before he became Paul, was Saul. And he served as some military wicked man in government or whatever he was. He hated the Christians. He hated Christ's followers. And he came for them. Until one day he had to experience something on this Damascus. And he lost his sight. Okay? He lost his sight. And he never said that he was Jesus. He just said that he met Jesus. Just like a whole lot of other people going to meet him. We don't know how Donald Trump could have met Jesus. But he met Jesus that day when that gun glazed his head. People trying to put ketchup out there, making jokes about it. Away. It ain't nothing really funny about it because it happened. I believe it happened. Some sniper got out there and could have been set up from somebody from his own, got close to him from his own people. Because that's how dirty and deadly people can be. They could be close as anything to you and be the enemy. And that's nothing to make a joke about. That's nothing to make fun about or anything because it has been successful in history that presidents have gotten killed. We got to think about Lincoln and some other presidents. We know John F. K., and Robert Kennedy both were shot and gunned down. So it has happened. And they made an attempt on Ronald Reagan in 1980, I think it was. So it has happened, and that's nothing to laugh and joke about, people, American people especially. You feel you don't want to be a part of politics, you don't agree with his policies, then you don't have to vote for him. You have your right. But you don't got a right to take his life. That evil, get that evil out your heart. And I'm not going to sit up there and make jokes about somebody's life being almost attempt on somebody's life and an innocent person lost their life. That's why they don't want to talk about it as much. But there were people wounded critically. And there were a man who lost his life trying to protect his family when the shots were going out. And it didn't hit Trump. I mean, it didn't hit Trump, but it hit somebody. And somebody is in their grave right now. So it's nothing to make fun about. It's nothing to laugh about, people. A man is dead. And that 20-year-old, whoever pumped his head up into doing something, he's only 20 years old. He's dead too. The sniper. That's sad that people could go that deep into politics instead of knowing Jesus. Just know Jesus. And he'll direct your heart on the right path. And he'll direct you to do the right thing. Turn away from it. Get away from it before it make you do anything evil. That's not funny, y'all. I saw somebody put up some ketchup patches about on Trump's face and making memes. Everything ain't funny. Everything ain't something to make a joke about. America. It's not a joke. It's not funny. And I'm not going to go along with the joke. But somebody's dead. A man, he was a father of 2 daughters. And I believe he was a man, I think he was a fireman or something like that. And he was out at the rally. And then there's 2 other people who were critically injured. Even if Trump didn't die, there was somebody that did die. And now a family is grieving. And some are praying. And some people are traumatized. That's not funny. And that's not nothing to laugh about. We done got that evil with politics. I mean, it's always been evil, but we mean to tell me now, even on technology, people going to get on technology and joke about that. The FBI need to be coming to your door. They need to be coming for you. And maybe put you out in the thing and make you an example. If you think this is funny, that this man is dead, and his family is grieving over the loss of their father, and a woman's grieving over the loss of her husband, and somebody's grieving over the loss of their child, because I'm sure he's somebody, his mom or her family's loved ones are probably may still be alive. Back to R.Kelly. I am still in sincere prayer for him, and I'm being his voice today. That God will hear my sincere hope and prayers for him. And that this message will get to Donald J. Trump and to the people that's fighting for the innocent lives that are sitting incarcerated behind bars over no crime that was committed. And that the people that is behind doing this to him will be held accountable in some kind of way. Don't give them a slap on the wrist. Make them be held accountable. Because in America, we're going to stand for justice, and we're going to mean law in truth for our citizens. This man lost a lot of time, money, his family. They may not kill him physically, but spiritually, they did some damage. They killed his spirit. And my prayers are sincerely there for him. Sincerely. And I've had to come live today while I had this on my heart. And I believe God put it on my heart to speak and be the voice for Robert Sylvester Kelly today as his supporter and an advocate against the injustice he was served by the United States courts of America. the evil. This is not funny anymore. Don't think about it happening. Don't do nothing until it happens to me. Do something before it happens to you. Because you may not be as lucky as Robert Sylvester Kelly to have people out here to fight against the evil when it comes to you. Mm. Think about it. Well, that being said, your girl Casey McDaniel, those of you, I did post on my community wall that I was going to come out here and I was going to speak on his behalf. I was going to still be in the fight for him. It wasn't for him. He was the person who influenced me to open up this channel, and I dedicated this channel to him. I didn't fall off the fight for him. I just got away from some of the people I know wasn't really out there for him. They was there for the blogger, and they was there for themselves as the blogger, and they wasn't really for Robert Sylvester Kelly, because they not out here trying to keep the fire burning, and they not out here still trying to bring awareness. They don't going somewhere, they don't know where they at, and I ain't going to go look for them, and I ain't going to call nobody's name. They know who they are if they watching the video of Casey McDaniel. Some of them, they got their channel still up, but they ain't talking about him. They talking about other stupid stuff to bring the attention on them and to win your pockets and get into your money. I ain't asking you for nothing, because I know who I dedicated this channel to. It wasn't dedicated to Casey McDaniel. This channel was dedicated on the behalf of Robert Sylvester Kelly. These people don't got your money. Now they don't moved on to other stuff. Swindling other people. And I thank all of you who came in. Please continue to hit the like button. Like, share, subscribe. And if you not a subscriber, please subscribe to my channel. I am trying to reach now. My goal is to make my channel go just as viral as it can go. Okay? So please subscribe to my channel. God bless you. May he continue to give you wisdom and wealth. Peace.